Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins, and by that I mean XRP, but first we've got to have a quick look at Bitcoin because Bitcoin's been pretty weird at the moment. I'll show you what I mean by that. We'll go to the hourly chart because at the moment we have to change. We basically have no choice but to trade Bitcoin on these short-term time frames because the long-term time frames are pretty much it's so difficult to trade it at the moment. It's so hard to trade it. So basically this morning we saw what could have been and should have been a head and shoulders pattern. It looked a little messy, but head, shoulders, and then we broke the neckline. The neckline being around this level, which was 17,600 thereabouts, and then we sort of bounced. We bounced from it. Really strong bounce, in fact, a massive bounce actually, and that's usually a bullish sign. But since that, it's struggling to stay above. Not struggling, but it's being a bit funny, getting above 18,000 again. So this even though this is a failed signal, so this is a bearish signal in itself, very bearish. But because it was invalidated, that should then be bullish, like really bullish. But we also broke out of this descending resistance trend line, and again, I'll extend this now to see where we go from there. But the likelihood is, we rally from it. Now I'll show you something else, which we go back, just a few days ago. We did have a similar kind of deal, really, massive rally up, huge, massive rally. We'll measure that we'll just measure it from here, really, which is the last dump into it, and that rally in itself is 17%. That's big for Bitcoin. I know we see that sort of thing with altcoins, and now we're looking at something kind of similar. So there is a chance that it might fail. So again, we rallied up 17% actually. And so what happened on this occasion? We broke out of this, and we were trying to trade this deal. Not the same kind of setup, but similar. We broke out here, and then we were rejected. Rejected there, and then we broke out of it, getting excited. And then what happened is we came basically down and tested this trend line all the way down until essentially it broke down beneath it, and then we did have a drop. So this could be the sort of the correction that people are waiting for, and that drop from where it was compromised from was a measly 6% drop, basically. I know that's not a great deal, but the moves are getting bigger now, and the drops could be bigger. So what's likely, what I'm kind of keeping my eye on now, is to see if this trend line holds as support. And if it does, it's descending, which isn't a good sign. And then obviously if we keep testing it all the way down to the point where this neckline was, which is around about 6,000, my god, 17,600, and then I think we will break down at that point, probably coming down to this, wherever this bad boy is here, the 200 exponential on the hourly, which also corresponds to quite a few other time frames. Anyway, boring you to death with Bitcoin, but we kind of need to know what's going on with it, because if it does decide to correct, and it corrects dramatically, then everything else is going to correct with it. But in the wake of that, like the phoenix rises from the ashes, it would allow likely this dominance to finally push up and get rejected from this descending channel. This will spark the alt season that a lot of us are waiting for. So I've just made a video about 3 of my top picks, but what does this mean for XRP? Because XRP, if you watched my last video on this, I showed you this on the trading view here, where we've got more chart history, and this is XRP on a weekly chart. I don't know what this is doing up here, that's a bit weird. On the weekly chart has shown us a signal to beat all signals. Basically, it's the ultimate signal. So basically what's happened here, this is our parabolic move in 2017, correcting all the way down since then, and that is normal. That's what it did last time when it rallied in 2014. We had a big parabolic top, and then basically a 3-year downtrend. So we had another big parabolic top in 2017, and now we're having a big, what should be roughly the same kind of deal, 3-year downtrend. It's not been 3 years yet, it's just basically been 2 years of downtrend basically. But the downtrend will always end, and it will end when the cloud goes, not when the cloud goes green, but it will make a big difference when the cloud goes green, or if we break above the cloud. And the cloud, as you can see, has perfectly rejected us on that little level. That's no mistake. That's what it's there for, and that's what should be anticipated, and that is where we were rejected, and that is fine, because this isn't going to work out it's not going to work out the best for XRP if it were to break out here. It's not supposed to, it's not meant to, it's not what we really want. What we see here is we see a fresh Ichimoku cloud cross from the baseline to the conversion line, We got one of these back here, and we did have a decent rally from that. This is a buy signal. You get a cross like this, the buy signal will be, we'll just measure it from the top of the wick, so sorry, to the top of the candle. And what we saw after that conversion baseline cross was a 76% move. That's a big deal for any coin. Not even just, never mind XRP. That's a big deal for any coin. So you measure the price action, which we were being, relatively conservative about measuring that, because we were measuring it from the top of that candle, but the cross took place here, so we measured it from down there. We could have measured it from the bottom there. It was 76% from that conversion baseline cross. Now the good thing is that we're looking to see that all over again. We were going to get this negative cross, and we didn't. We went positive again. Technically we went. It almost went negative, but then it stayed positive, which means that so long as it's positive and it's upwards facing, we're in for another big move. Now, are we looking for a 76% move any minute now? Probably not. If we have a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, the way that it works is we're in this descending channel. We're zigzagging on, and this is a weekly, by the way, so it takes a while to play out. We're going to be doing the inverse, basically, of what XRP has signaled. We're about to be rejected from the top of this trend line, which is roughly around 68%. This could happen in the wake of a giant dump. So if Bitcoin crashed, or not crashed, but dumped, a couple of grand, that would cause alts to crash probably a lot more percentage-wise than Bitcoin. That would increase the dominance. Even though everything's gone down, and Bitcoin's gone down, the dominance is likely to go up for Bitcoin, and it should get rejected around this descending trend line to allow the alt season to play out, which is what will likely, that's what it means. Alt season happens when this starts to decline. We're about to enter into a red zone here, which also would correspond to roughly the trend line. So if we get rejected from this trend line and we start to go beneath this cloud, alt season will be pretty good, and it should take place roughly around the first to the second week of December. So we've got about 3 weeks or more, 3 or 4 weeks before this really starts to play out. If it plays out in this fashion, it could come early, obviously, but this should have the continuation from that level on. So December onwards, maybe into January, the alt season should be more of a prolonged one, rather than these 2 or 3 days worth of alts rallying and then they kind of dump, and because they're not ready. The chart's saying it's not ready. So what we see on this is that we're clearly not ready to break out of here, and if we were to, we'd be brought back down within it. But in about 1 to 3 to 4 weeks, this cloud almost disappears. It's this time, in a couple of months, it'll be gone completely. That will allow for this cross to really play out. So the 75% that we saw, and the last time we saw the cross, is not going to be out of the realms of possibility. In fact, I think it's very likely at that point. So a 75% move is almost certainly going to take place around December to January for XRP, and maybe even a little more. In fact, it could be a dramatic amount more, because as you can see, this cloud has been, we've been sat underneath this cloud for such a long period of time. It's shrinking, and it's not been green since, when was the last time it was green? August 2018. It's going to finally start to go green in January the 18th next year, and then we will start to see something very, very different with XRP. We're not going to see it now. As you can see, we're not ready for it now. It's not going to happen now. But what we are going to be seeing is something different in the beginning of next year at the earliest. And after then, it should just basically be a different token altogether, and it will launch. So essentially, these are the bottoms for XRP. You can see how much it's been and how much it's declined. We will see some really big moves with XRP. I'm talking, we're going to be going up to the 50s to the 80s, and then into the dollars, all through next year, and it'll be very, 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 very different for XRP. But for the moment, as you can see, we're not ready for that. The chart is telling us we're not ready for that. There's a reason we rejected on this level here, is because we have not got anywhere close to the top of it. It's the very first time we've got to the top of this cloud ever, since the cloud was created, since the cooling off period of that parabolic high. Things are looking good for XRP, and I know it's an unpopular thing to say for some, and a very popular thing for others, but things are looking good. We've also got a nice positive cross here above the 0 point for XRP, so the MACD is also looking very bullish. A massive big tick there on the histogram. it is looking very good, but again, not quite ready for it yet. But these are the bottom levels. Now if there's a dump, which there will be a correction with Bitcoin. There has to be. If it gets to 20,000, it might overshoot, and then there'll be a correction. Obviously XRP is going to correct, but when we're talking dollar for dollar, where my money is probably better in, is it better in XRP or is it better in Bitcoin? Which one's going to rally the most percentage wise from the levels that there are right now? I would definitely say it's definitely going to be XRP, and I'm going to get shot all over the place on YouTube for saying that, and obviously I'll have nothing to back it up until the moves start to take place at the beginning of next year, and obviously all the way through next year. So obviously I'm going to look like a mug saying that right now, because you know it looks as though the odds are against me, but I'm telling you that they're not. This is the kind of setup that you wait for, and I've been waiting for this, and now this is the time. This is the time to get ready to pull the XRP trigger, because you know it'll take everyone off guard, and I've been saying that for a while now. And you know, the chart is coming to the end of this cycle. We'll be moving into the bull market. We're in the accumulation phase at the moment. We've been in that accumulation phase pretty much for 3 years, and that will end. And the accumulation phase, once that's over, it'll be difficult to get a position in XRP because it'll be going up so high. People will be too worried to buy in, and those who do buy in will cause the FOMO, just like they always have, and it will cause something like this at the end. Anyway, it was a long-winded video. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate you join my Telegram chat and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to have a look at some of my trading bots that I've got set up, I'll leave a link above my head as well. The trading bots is something I've been using for about 3 weeks now with really good win strategies. You get a 14-day trial period for free. You don't need to exchange any money. You can try it out completely for free, and if you wanted to go ahead and purchase it, you can do, and obviously you'll have that 14 days to see for yourself how well it works. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice evening, and take it easy.